Hi, this is Todd with ESOTERIC Car Care. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of doing a test polishing section. Okay, a test section when polishing. What is it? When are you going to want to do it? Basically, it's going in, trying a few different combinations to figure out what's going to be the best for that car on that day based off of what level of correction that you're going for with your customer. Now, over the years, I've gotten countless amount of emails and messages. Hey, I've got this coming in. What should I use on it, or what's going to work best on it? My answer is pretty simple. Don't know. Unless I'm there to do a test section, you can't really tell. Sometimes people just have a hard time grasping that whole concept. So we're going to talk about it a little bit, and then we're also going to go out in the shop, and I'm going to kind of show you how I go through a test section to figure out what we want to do. Like I said, it depends on what level that you're going for. We've talked about different levels of polishing, from a quick polish to a intensive one-step to multi-stage to restorative levels. So if you're just doing a quick polish, really doesn't make any difference, because that's simply to go over the car real quickly, add a little bit of gloss and clarity to it. Now when you get up into the one-step, you're looking to get a better rate of correction. If you talk to your customer and said, hey, we can do this one step, I can get you 60-70% correction rate for this price. You want to go in there and you want to find out which combination is going to work best for that particular car. Likewise, if you're going in for a major correction on it, where you're going 90-95% correction rate, you're going to want to figure out a combo from your compounding side to your finishing side to figure out what's going to work best for it. Having said all this, really the best way to approach this is to develop a system and a combination of products that work most consistently across most paint types. Find something that works very consistently, and that will take the time for your test sections. It'll take that down considerably, because you know that you're going to get really good results for it. So if you're doing a one-step, for instance, one step is same type of pad for the whole car and one particular polish for the whole car. So you may do a test section and find out which is going to work better for me. Now, if you're doing heavier correction, you're going to be looking at something like the Meguiar's microfiber cutting disc and a dedicated compound. We might have a couple different compounds we go with, but Jescar is our go-to because it gives us the best results most of the time. Then, if I settle on a process or pressure, then I come back to my finish polishing test section. Over top of that, once again, do I want to use a white pad? Do I want to use the yellow pad? Do I need to vary up my technique? But once I've dialed in a system, I've inspected, I've completely wiped everything down with Geon Prep, after each section or process that I do, and if I'm using my light and I'm inspecting it, it looks great, perfect. I'm done and I'm ready to run on the entire car. That's kind of the theory behind it. So now what I want to do is I want to go out in the shop and I want to show you some of the things that I'm looking for and how I go about doing my test sections to get the final result. So we'll break right here, we'll go out in the shop and we'll take a closer look at it. Okay, now we're out here in the shop. We want to talk about doing the test section, kind of what we're looking for, what kind of products and tools that we need. First of all, you want to make sure you have the right tools. You want to have your machine, a selection of pads, a polish or two. You've got a good inspection light. You want to be looking at the paint really closely. Combination of handheld LED lights, if you've got overhead lights, sometimes taking it out in the sun as well. We really find out that you're going to see more with an inspection light that you're going to see in the sunshine. So we have that. We also have Geon Prep for wiping the surface down in between and before you even go to do any kind of polishing on it. You want to make sure that what you see is what you get. So what we're doing here is we want to take a look, really, this thing needs to get a high level of correction. We want to take a look whether a one-step polish is going to work or we need to do multi-stage. Now, when doing your test sections, you're going to probably use a few different areas, particularly if you're going to do multi-stage polishing, because you might have a couple of sections that you need to do on your compounding stage, depending on what it does, and then you're going to want to follow up with some finish polishing over top of that. Now, we've all seen on forums and other places where people have it taped off perfectly in nice little grids and marking, you know, what goes what direction. That looks nice and all, but it's completely unnecessary and a waste of time. I'm going to hit this with Geon Prep. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do one pass, a test section on a one step. We'll wipe it down, then wipe it down with prep again, and we'll take a look at it and see if it's getting what we hope that it gets. We want to make sure that we're using one of our high quality, very soft towels, because the last thing you want to do is scratch up the surface after you've polished it. And another thing that you want to make sure you're doing, when you're wiping it off, you want to go one direction with your towel. That way, if you inspect it afterwards, and if you see a lot of things going all directions, you know that that's something that the polishing process just didn't get. If you look at it and you see a lot of straight line scratching going on, you know that you did it with your towel. So conversely, if you went in and just wiped all directions, if you're scratching with your towel, you won't know if you're doing that or whether it's stuff that's left over. So go in straight line motions as you're wiping it off. So wipe this off. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch towels, and I'm going to liberally spray it down with Geon Prep. Once again, wiping the same direction as I did before. And I'm going to take my inspection light and I'm going to look over the surface. And if you haven't already, we've got another video that we've done on this light, and it talks a little bit about some of the inspection techniques of how you're viewing the paint. Now, as I look at this right here, the paint looks really good. I'm looking closely for any deeper stuff that might be in the paint, any swirls or anything that I may have missed. So what this is telling me is a one-step polish should be all that we need for this car. There might be a couple deeper things here and there that we can spot compound, but for the most part, this is getting everything that we need. But let's say that I did my compounding stage and there's still some stuff left in it. What I'm going to want to do is I want to move over here to a little bit different area, and I'm going to try something a little bit different. Do I try a different pad? Do I try maybe a little bit different pressure? Do I try a different compound on it? I stop, I inspect it, I make a comparison between this spot and this spot. Did this process get out the defects that this did not? If so, then I am going to go with my finish polishing process. Then I wipe everything down, wipe it down with prep, and I inspect it again. Does it look like a finished product? Is that how I want the rest of the car to look? If so, I make note, this is my compounding process, this is my finish polishing process. So what you're trying to do here is you're trying to find out what combination is going to work best on this car relative to the amount of correction that you're going for. Remember, detailing isn't about either just washing a car or full corrections. There's many levels of polishing in between. It depends on what is decided between you and your customer, or if you're doing this car for yourself at home, what level that you want to take it to. But by taking a few minutes to do a test section on all your processes, you're going to figure out what's going to work best for the rest of the car. Make sure you have enough clean pads for it. You make sure you have enough of that polish. It's going to give you a system. The last thing you want to do is, compound the whole car, then decide, okay, what am I going to do for my finish polishing process? So take your time, do it right. Try not to overthink it. This shouldn't take you more than about 5-10 minutes at the absolute max to figure out what direction is going to work best for you. If it's taking more time than that, you've got something going wrong with your product selection that you have, or your technique that you're using, or a combination of those. But once again, by narrowing down the selection that you have, finding a really good system that works consistently over more paint types, it's going to save you a lot of time. Okay, now that you followed us out in the shop, kind of showed you what we're looking for and how we go about the process. Hopefully that gives you a better understanding of A, the importance of doing a test section, B, how to do it to maximize your results and minimize your time. Once again, you shouldn't be spending a whole lot of time on it. You know, you're gonna get that rare car that's just super finicky that you're gonna fight with, and you're gonna be doing test sections on every single panel, but that is an outlier. For 99% of the time, it's gonna be exactly the processes that we just showed you out in the shop. But if after this video you find you still have some more questions, leave comments and questions below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're constantly updating with new videos on detailing tips, tools, and techniques. That's about all for today. For Esoteric Car Care, I'm Todd Cooperrider. Thanks, and we'll see you again next time.